A tiny tadpole freely glides along ocean currents, going where it wills, seeking its thrills. The ocean is its oyster. But when a larva is on an adventure, it dreams of home. When it's home, it dreams no more. The gold-mouthed sea squirt seeks a throne on which to rest forever. No more to roam through life, death, and taxonomy. Welcome back to Life, Death, and Taxonomy. It's your 30 minutes of interesting animal information. I am Joe.
And I'm Carlos.
Thank you to Cassie for the creation of our theme song. To hear more of Cassie's music, please search Cassie Michelle on YouTube or Spotify.
Really enunciating there.
Yeah.
And thank you to Johanna for the creation of this week's artwork. To check that out, you can visit us at our home on the web at ldtaxonomy.com. Goodness, now I'm not enunciating. A very special thank you to our patrons. Thank you so much for your support. It's greatly appreciated. Thanks for helping us keep the lights on. If you would like to donate, just visit patreon.com/ldtaxonomy or click donate on our website.
And today we're talking about an active kid that grows into a lazy adult, but more on that later.
I can't relate. Yeah.
I feel like the opposite.
You were a lazy kid and now you're an active adult.
Yeah.
I was an active kid.
Depends on what you mean by active, but yeah.
I do sit in this exact chair.
Yeah.
So much. So I guess you could call from the perspective of this particular animal, I've done that. I used to be all over the place, running around, having a great time, and now I am sedentary. I'm stuck. But we are talking about the gold-mouthed sea squirt. I'm just going to let that marinate.
Extremely. Yeah.
So that people can
well,
develop some sort of mental picture of what we're even talking about.
Well, we also just want to marinate in it because...
It's yummy.
Yeah, just to like...
And balsamic.
Get a good marinade going, yeah. No, gold-mouthed sea squirt was
You're nicking
just
a nice
emphatically suggested by Z Lightning Bolts on Spotify in the Spotify comments.
Nice.
Gold-mouthed sea squirt, gold-mouthed sea squirt, gold-mouthed sea squirt was the...
You said that 3 times fast. That was impressive.
Yeah. I like the... the Z Lightning Bolt also suggested the clownfish. So we did the clownfish.
We're riding the Z Lightning Bolt. We're riding the lightning.
Yeah, Mr. or Mrs. Lightning Bolt also said, I just like the fact that they said, okay, I get it. Maybe the clownfish isn't like, it's just a pretty animal. It doesn't have the best major fact. We found one. But then it's just like, what about the gold-mouthed sea squirt? It's literally called the sea squirt. That's like pretty good. And then the next comment is gold-mouthed sea squirt, gold-mouthed sea squirt, gold-mouthed sea squirt. We've done it.
We caved into pressure, apparently. But this is a good one.
Their last communication was 4 months ago. So I'm hoping it wasn't like 2 months ago that they were just like...
They gave up hope.
I can't not listen to the gold-mouthed sea squirt.
I'm going to go find a gold-mouthed sea squirt podcast.
Yeah.
Hosted by gold-mouthed sea squirts. Anyway. Thank you to Z Lightning for the suggestion. The gold-mouthed sea squirt is also called the ink spot sea squirt for reasons that will become apparent, as will the gold-mouth part of it. The golden sea squirt. And also, what might be my favorite name, like official alternative name for an animal, the ox heart ascidian. What a title. That's like that's like a role in a pantheon. Like a legendary warrior. I just finished playing Black Myth Wukong, so I can totally see like one of the legendary warriors of that mythology becoming an Oxheart Ascidian that is 3 times immortal over again and levels mountains
How can
with
you
a
be
prayer.
3 times immortal?
You do 3 different things that grant you immortality. You drink from this river, you eat this peach, and you get this. You wear this sash or something. I don't know. It's mythology. They do whatever they want. But yes, Oxheart Ascidian. That's awesome. But we're gonna call it here Goldmouth, Silver Spoon, the Sea Sarlacc, and the Martyr with a Mouth, for reasons that will become apparent when I say the genus of this animal. So let's get right into the taxonomy of this one. It's in a kingdom you know, love, and are in. That kingdom is Animalia. Interestingly enough, it is in the phylum Chordata, which is, when you look at this thing, I would have never placed it there.
Oh, we can talk about that.
That is very interesting. There are other phylums I would have placed this in. Maybe Mollusca probably would have been pretty high on my list. But nope, it's in the phylum Chordata. The subphylum is Tunicata. It is a tunicate. The class is Acidiaceae. Oh goodness, I didn't practice this one. Acidiaceae. There we go. The order is Stolidobranchia. Family is Stylidae. And the genus is Polycarpa. And the species is Orata. So the binomial nomenclature is Polycarpa Orata. And if you don't know who Polycarp was, he was an early Christian martyr, which is why I call this guy the Martyr with the Mouth. So since we're in the business of naming things, it's time for the list. One half of the listeners' favorite part of the show, because they like both critic groups and this one. It is nitty gritty nomenclature, the part of the show where I ask you, Joe, a question, and that is, what is the translation, the English translation for the binomial nomenclature? There is no collective noun for sea squirts, which I think I'm okay with. Polycarpa Orata. What does that mean in English? Does it mean A, multi-capped yellowfish, B, many-folded golden one, C, multi-headed aura, or D, many-sided gold rock? Polycarpa Orata.
Okay, go. What was the second one?
Many-folded golden one.
Interesting. I guess I'm doing that one. Many-folded golden one.
Are you trying to read the reflection off my glasses?
No, I was staring intently at the binomial name on the Wikipedia page. About the spelling. Looking for spelling clues.
Oh, I hope it doesn't say the translation. Sometimes the Wikipedia page does.
Oh, I didn't see that. If it did.
So, yeah. No, actually, the Wikipedia page says almost nothing about this animal, so we have had to find our information elsewhere. You're correct. The answer is multi-folded, or many-folded golden one. I guess you could also say multi-folded. Yeah. If you thought I was saying orata, like orator, that is not. It's like AUR, like
I was thinking
Arium,
gold,
which is gold. Yeah.
I was between the two ones that had gold and many. I knew many and gold were a part of it, so and there were 2 options. So
multi would.
It was
work.
not easy.
Multi and many, both would work as for poly.
But it needed to have gold and many.
They all had
me to
multi or
consider.
many in them. I made sure of that because I wasn't getting away with poly, and I thought that maybe yellow would throw it off, but yeah. Anyway, yes, many folded golden one, and many folds, I suppose, is polycarp.
Huh.
Which is I don't know what
It means
is being said there.
maybe that it's like a metaphor for like layered, like that. It's a nickname for someone who's nuanced and interesting.
Or wears like really flowy robes.
Yeah.
Or they're way ahead of their time by several thousand years, and they're doing the whole smooth brain insult. Like,
wouldn't it be the opposite of that if you have many folds?
right? So it's like they have many folds. So this is a big brain play.
Yeah.
Big brain man.
Okay.
5 head. I think that's another thing that the kids say. Let's talk about what this looks like, because I'm sure you are wondering. It is a sea squirt, and it has a gold mouth, and that's pretty much all we've said so far. So, picture a hollow urn-shaped blob that looks like I get my first grade attempt at pottery. It's lumpy,
Okay.
and I'm very proud of it. It is, yeah, it's like tubes, big hollow tubes. It has a vibrant paint job. It's got white with purple and orange splotches, which is wild for coloration. Purple is not very common color
That's true.
for animals to have. It looks like the kitchen table after painting day with the kids. Just everything but the paper they were supposed to paint is painted. They have these 2 siphons that are sticking out, one on top and one on the side, and the inside edges of those siphons, which are like the ends of the tubes, they're gold yellow, which is it's a mouth. It's a gold mouth. They have very thick, tough skin, which is apparently both leathery and slimy. Like it's tough and hard to pull apart, but it's got a coat of mucus on it. Slimy but satisfying. There are these teeth, I guess you could call them, that are positioned around the inside of the mouth that are that face inward, so that anything that comes in does not easily get out. That was a very stuttered way to talk about that, but yes. So when you look at it, it looks like a Sarlacc pit from Star Wars. It's got, or one of those worms from Peter Jackson's King Kong that haunt my nightmares to this day. But yes, a row of sharp teeth that face inward, so that, like a man catcher, you can get in, but you have to go through the spines to get out. But how big is it, Joe?
What an excellent question. Let me consider the ways. Let me consider measure up. The official listeners part of the show, the part of the show when we present the animal size and dimensions in relatable terms through a quiz that's fun for the whole family. It's also part of the show on occasion. That's introduced by you when you send in an audio of yourself saying, singing, or chittering the words measure up into ldtaxonomy@gmail.com. We don't have a new measure up intro this week.
No.
But that means we get to hear from an animal, and Carlos has to guess what it is. Without further ado, the listener's favorite part of the show. I mean, the listener's regular part of the show.
It's the most part of the show.
Whoa! That was so cool! Hey, Dad, did you see
Do you know what that is?
That was loud.
Yep.
That is.
Oh, I got a new phone, and the like volume capabilities are extremely different from my old phone.
Extremely different.
Extremely different.
That is Squirt the turtle, and he lives in the sea, so he is a sea squirt.
Yeah, he is technically a sea squirt. He's a squirt, and he lives in the sea. Squirt from
Finding Nemo.
Finding Nemo.
We've been. What is this? The third Finding Nemo reference, and
it's very handy. There's a lot of characters in that.
There are a lot of talking sea creatures in that one. Almost by necessity, you would say.
Yes, and I was not about to find a character of a gold-mouthed sea squirt in fiction, so
if there was, it would probably be some eldritch being that, like, some obscure French filmmaker had his character have a conversation with.
Yeah, but
like he dives down to this reef, and then this gold-mouthed sea squirt just starts talking to him about the secrets of the universe.
What kind of French films are you watching? Aren't they notoriously boring and non?
No, that's the whole movie. Though
no
it's just it's just this philosophical conversation with a coral polyp.
That's way more interesting. Immediately,
that's way more interesting
French film
than
I've ever seen.
French. I like the one where the guy blows himself up with dynamite. That one ended.
A French film is more like he's gonna go and have a philosophical conversation with a cigarette or something like that.
He's with a cup of coffee.
But let's talk about the length of their tadpole phase. They're 0.5 to 2 millimeters, or 500 to 2,000 micrometers. Does that help you?
No.
Is it A, 1.6 billion going to the length of the Great Barrier Reef? B, 84,000 going to the Jeddah flagpole in Saudi Arabia? Or C, 140 going to a standard fork?
How many?
These are quite small.
How tall did you say this was?
2 millimeters. Tall is a strong word.
The Wikipedia says 6 inches.
There's no way the tadpole... I'm looking up pictures, and it's like almost microscopic.
Oh, the tadpole phase.
Yeah.
The tadpole phase. Sorry, I missed that part. So you're talking about the adult phase. Okay. Great Barrier Reef. Final answer. Because, again, I've been thinking about Australia a lot. For some reason, there's some show about rectangular dogs that keeps coming up. And so Australia's been in front of my mind. And also my kids are starting to talk like Australians. So I'm wondering if I should intervene.
So Great Barrier Reef, final answer?
Yeah, that one.
The correct answer is the Jeddah flagpole, the tallest flagpole in the world.
I didn't think that was real. Jeddah is a planet in Star Wars.
Jeddah. In fact,
I'm pretty sure that's how they...
Marco Rubio was just in Jeddah this week.
Great.
So it's a real place. I was a little sad to like...
Was the Empire there?
It depends on what you mean. It was a little sad to like shout out the world's tallest flagpole and have it not be an American flag. But I remembered that technically the highest flag is an American flag, if you consider that there is an American flag on the moon. So I feel like that counts.
Is that counts as being tall?
No, but it is high. I don't even know if it counts as being high.
You could probably make if you could get it up there, you could probably make a much, much taller flagpole on the moon because you don't have as much gravity and you don't have atmosphere.
Are you
Working
familiar
against
with the concept of a space antenna? Like an antenna that reaches from the ground to space, or like a tower that reaches from the ground to space, that like theoretically is possible because once you get it to space, the like motion of the Earth, or like, I don't know, whatever physics like keeps
It's gonna
it.
pull it up,
Yes, pull it
keep it
taut.
up.
Rather
I've heard of like
gravity pulling it down.
a space ladder.
Yeah, so the concept is, or an elevator. The concept is that
Yeah.
you could get things to space way easier if you had this extremely difficult thing to make. But if you put a flag at the top of that, that would be the tallest flag.
That would be the tallest. All right, it's in Jeddah.
It's in Jeddah, the 84,000 tadpoles long. This flagpole is. Let's talk about their adult length. So yeah, 2 to 6 inches, 50 to 150 millimeters, 5 to 15 centimeters. Is it A? 54,000 go into. Oh, I looked up the pronunciation for this and then forgot. Shurag Bolton. It's KJERAG. So the correct pronunciation would be like a soft K sound.
Okay.
If you could muster that. It's a giant boulder. In some Scandinavian country. B 450,000 go into the width of Spotted Lake. Or C 20,000 go into Vin Niem Pagoda, which is a building.
Pick some toughies.
It's a building in
I'm gonna guess Southeast Asia.
Definitely that. Ho Chi Minh.
Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
In addition to Australia, I have also been thinking a lot about Asia, thanks to Black Myth Wukong. So, pagoda. Final answer.
The correct answer is, the Vin Niem Pagoda.
I spent a whole level fighting my way through a magical pagoda that kept knocking me down several levels, and so pagoda's top of mind too.
It is the quintessential example of a pagoda tower. It reminds me of the thing in Japan, in the tower, the pagoda in Japan, in Epcot, reminds me of this a little bit.
Yes, I think that style of architecture was borrowed from China. I think that kind of stuff originated in China and spread out to surrounding Far East countries.
Look how interesting! Look how you always think like, how distinct can a building actually be? And it's like, there it is, architecture. It's very different. It's extremely like specific to where it's from.
But could you tell the difference between a pagoda that was in Ho Chi Minh and a pagoda that was in Beijing?
Maybe if I studied it. Maybe if I studied the
in the same way that you could tell the difference between like a cathedral in Berlin and a cathedral in Lyon or something like that. Like it's kind of someone could tell the difference, not me.
So that's great. You 50%.
Nice. Just going with whatever I happen to be thinking about at the time, which is Australia and East Asia.
Spotted Lake also is a very interesting lake that is spotted. It's a great name. It's not, you know how lakes are just often just random names? This is called Spotted Lake, and it is a spotted lake.
What about Lake Erie? It's a spooky place to be. Lake Superior is like pretty well named. I'll give it that.
It's it's called Killuck Lake by native tribes, but it's in Canada. It's got spots.
Cool. Do you want some fast facts before we get to the major fact?
Sure.
All right. The goldmouth sea squirt, or the ox heart ascidian, hangs out in tropical eastern Indian Ocean waters and the western Pacific. Think the Philippines, Indonesia, northern Australia, Papua New Guinea area. They stick to coral reefs and rocky surfaces between 16 and 164 feet deep, which is a huge range, or 5 to 50 meters. They are omnivorous. They are filter feeders. They eat phytoplankton, zooplankton, bacteria, whatever floats by, makes it into their mouths and does not make it out. They are sessile, meaning they are there. They pick a spot and they stay in that spot. They're not moving. They have RSVP'd no to all future engagements. They are also hermaphroditic, which means they have both boy parts and lady parts to make more of themselves. They can go solo or with a buddy, and their cells just float out and kind of hope for the best. And that is the reproductive process. We don't know exactly how long they live, but they live for at least a few years, and they need to keep in. Well, they don't have eyes. They are they don't keep an eye out, but they can be snacked on by nudibranches or nudibranchs, I guess you could say, flatworms, fish. Not a lot of things can get through their tough hide. But the things that can, we'll snack on them. And I will leave it at that.
Okay, so there's another fast fact. They are being studied for their potential to produce bioactive compounds with medical applications. They've been identified to have several classes of compounds that are promising for antimicrobial purposes, anti-tumor stuff, antioxidant, and anti-inflammatory properties. The anti-tumor one is particularly interesting, but as with all anti-tumor things, the trick is getting it to focus on the thing you want it to kill and not kill all of the cells. But
right.
They're working on it.
Programmable anti-tumor thing.
Yeah, anti-tumor is another way of saying anti-cellular.
Yeah.
Destroying cells.
Anti-tissue. Anti-blood.
But let's talk about the major fact, which I'm calling cessationist. This sea squirt goes through an extremely dramatic metamorphosis from a free-swimming tadpole like a larva to a completely sessile adult. And it's not just like, I'm going to stay put. This process reduces their brain function. And brain is a strong word. More like brain like nervous structure.
Yes.
This thing is like, in its larval stage, it is like a very tiny, nearly microscope. 2 millimeters, very tiny. To get a good look at it, you need a microscope. In its larval stage, the goldmouth sea squirt has a tail and a primitive notochord, which is a precursor, the bare minimum you need to qualify as a spine. So there's where it's called chordata.
Just absolutely snuck in there, huh?
Yeah. Buzzer beater indeed.
That is 3 kids in a trench coat trying to see a PG-13 movie.
It also has a cerebral ganglion, which is a simple cluster of nerve cells that functions like a rudimentary brain, which allows it to swim and respond to its environment. Vision and thoughts are caused by you needing to move. Because if you're moving, you're deciding. Well, if you're choosing where to go, you're deciding. Because there's a lot of jellyfish that don't do a lot of deciding. They just kind of like float.
They move away from stimulus.
Yeah.
Like you touch
some jellyfish are fully just like wherever the current goes. Which we experienced when snorkeling. When just like you have to look upstream or up current to make sure there wasn't a jellyfish coming to like
about to slap you in the face.
I'm about to slap you in the face. During the season. So so that enables it to respond to its environment and get around. The larva actively searches for a suitable surface to settle on. A suitable surface to settle on, indeed, using light and gravity cues. So something with gravity. The light I understand. Gravity I don't understand.
There's gravity underwater.
Yeah, but isn't it kind of the same? Like, is gravity is it more? I know pressure changes. Does gravity noticeably change with water pressure? I don't understand that.
Gravity doesn't change, but if you are not buoyant, then you're going to go in the direction of gravity.
Yeah, but that's less like a gravity cue and more of a water condition cue, all right? But
you just know which direction down is.
Okay, I guess knowing which way down is a cue from gravity. Yeah.
Right. So and that helps.
Is that what your inner ear is giving you gravity cues? Is that what that is?
It tells you it tells you where you are in relationship to the ground.
Yeah. Okay.
Whether you are perpendicular or parallel or somewhere in between.
True. I guess that's a gravity cue. So once it finds a spot, it attaches head first, and over the course of hours to days, it undergoes a radical makeover. The tail and notochord are reabsorbed. It eats its own spine. The body reshapes into the urn-like adult form, and the cerebral ganglion degenerates. So it finds me at the end of a long day, find a great spot on the couch and just stop thinking.
And degenerate, yeah.
Degenerate, yeah.
This reminds me a lot of that whole part of the ship, part of the crew thing from Pirates of the Caribbean, where you just eventually get absorbed into the wall and lose your mind.
It is quite like that. This process is interesting because almost like it's like the animal decides to abandon more complex, mobile existence where they have choices and the ability to change your fate, change your stars, to a more stationary one. It's a rare moment in nature of voluntary de-evolution or degeneration. Well, except for human beings. A lot of degenerates there. Tunicates, like the goldmouth sea squirt, are also among our closest invertebrate relatives. No. Like, they're not. Are they ever? They're not invertebrates. They have a notochord.
There's a difference between being inchordata and being a vertebrate.
True. So it's interesting. It's like a. Yeah, I guess that's fair.
Having the notochord makes you inchordata, but you need to have a spinal cord to be a vertebrate.
So I guess these people are saying, like, I guess the scientific theory here is like, because it has a notochord, it is the closest relative among invertebrates.
Yeah, of all the things that, yes, it's such a broad. It's painted with such a broad brush that it like loses all significance, really. But it's like there. Of all of the things that don't have a spinal column, this one has a notochord. So
then it is most closely related to things that have spinal cords. Yeah.
Yes.
Ridiculous.
I wish I had a good analogy for that.
It is an organism essentially dismantling its own brain to adapt to a new lifestyle. Which is very funny because it is.
That's like saying.
It's like when your friends start reading High Life and smoking weed. They're dismantling their own brain to adapt to a new lifestyle.
Well, that's like saying the closest relative, the closest. The potato chip relative of the Jolly Rancher is the barbecue chip because it's kind of sweet. Like it's like, yeah, but like, did you say it? Is there any meaning in what you just said? Does it matter?
There is meaning. It's just
it doesn't
not very meaningful.
Has no impact.
The closest thing to things that have no meaning and things that have meaning are that.
Oh no! Now we're several layers deep.
All right, yeah. So that's all I got.
All right, for you, that was the gold mouth sea squirt, the ox heart Ascidian warrior of the deep.
I don't think we talked about the fact that like we kept calling it urn shaped, but it looks like a heart. Yeah, looks like a chambered heart. It's got two valves that like a heart does. Like a
disfigured gourd.
Sessile sea creatures often have two openings so that like stuff can filter through. Water can like go through it and it'll pick up food.
Intake and outtake.
In this case, it's configured in a way that looks like a heart.
And apparently, the heart of an ox.
Yeah.
Because a 6-inch heart is pretty big.
That's true. Fair enough. I interrupted your outro. Now we have to start it from the beginning.
No. For you out there in Podcastia, pick up your lifetime squatting spot, put on your clown makeup, and become simpler in your old age, like the goldmouth sea squirt here in Life, Death, and Taxonomy.
Hey Taxonomy Titans, I just want to remind you that we now have a Patreon. Patrons can see full video episodes and get shoutouts on the show. But ultimately, it's a way for you to help us cover some costs and get even better. Still, reviews are the best way to help us grow. So if you haven't left one yet, we'd really love to hear from you. As always, thanks for listening and engaging.
Life, Death, and Taxonomy is my favorite in the world podcast.
I like the ending, actually. I don't like the clown makeup. I don't want to do the clown makeup one. If I'm taking this advice, I'm going to not take the clown makeup. But who wouldn't want to be simpler in their old age, you know?
And have a
Just live
lifetime
simple
squatting
life.
spot?
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Squatting. It's like get on the porch and enjoy the sunset of your years.